Good evening, everyone. Live from Silicon Valley, California. This is Bhakti Community. My name is JM, and I welcome you all to a program today, Bhakti On, where we continue our series, Boxing with the Mind. And today is session number 12, Get in Preparation Mode, Small Daily Disciplines, Big Lifelong Returns. With our speaker today, Vaish, a veteran Bhakti yogi, author, and former monk. Thanks so much, Vaish, for another episode on Boxing with the Mind.
Oh, it's my pleasure, JM. And thank you for such a warm welcome. And great to see everybody. Beck is here. Nama is here. Amit. Bhakti Rasa. Great to see you. Shama Sundari. Jai. Hetty's here. Adinath. Yashita. Vicky. Chow. Anirban. And Ruchi. And more coming in now. Nice backdrop, Nama Chintamani.
Thank you.
We've been having some amazing sunsets and sunrises around here lately. Maybe it has to do with the moisture and particles in the air. But it's a great upliftment. In fact, I've been noting that catching the sunrise is one of the most important health features of life, psychologically and physically. When the light touches the eye, it helps to release a lot of the really healthy hormones that come into the system. And it always reminds me of how perfectly formed the world is, that everything is in synergy and works together. It's part of what Ayurveda talks about. There's a right time to do things, keeps us in harmony. Is that some kind of a concoction, or is that a picture? Your
My
background.
background, I got
Yeah.
it from it's a picture from Google. I took I just took it from Google.
It's amazing. And Chitra's got something amazing too. What do you have behind you? A kangaroo. How befitting. Excellent. Is that one of your paintings?
Yes.
She's an artist. I've been the recipient of some of her artwork. Fantastic. Great to see that backdrop. And Bhakti Rasa, how are you? I can't tell if she's actually there or if that's her picture. Anyway, it's great to see
She's
you.
there, but it's her picture.
Okay. Yeah, both things can be true at the same time, not mutually exclusive. Hetty's back. Good to see you, Hetty. How are you? Where are you, by the way? Somewhere with a cooler climate, I hope?
I'm just in the East Bay. Yeah, California.
I like the East Bay, my hometown, Lafayette.
Yeah.
Fantastic. A lot of beautiful hills there still. When I grew up in Lafayette, it's not so far from St. Mary's College. You know where that is?
Yeah.
Beautiful hills.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they were unstable, so nobody ever developed them. So when we were kids, we used to hike up in those hills, and it was part of the aesthetic experience of the Bay Area, the Golden Hills. Very nice. Chuck, did you ride your bicycle today?
I did, just like every day.
He only goes
A
by
little chilly
bicycle.
this morning, but
It's
maybe then.
in the upper 40s, right?
Really not too
Nice.
bad.
Fantastic. Yeah, I like those cities where there's more bicycles than cars. I hope someday everyone can follow in your footsteps and ride bicycles. Cars seem to be such a monstrosity. Well, fantastic, everyone. Thanks for coming. It's great we have a little time together. Would anybody like to introduce a guest and If somebody wants to say hey, it'd be nice to hear from you.
Go ahead now.
Please.
Yeah, I want to welcome Beck. She's joining for the first time. We met her at Pakenham, which is in the southeast of Melbourne, at a book table 2 Saturdays ago. And her daughter bought a Chant and Be Happy for her as a Christmas present. And then Beck's on a spiritual journey. So she was very happy to find us and then find this online community.
Fantastic. Great to see you, Beck. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
That's the book you got, Chant and Be Happy?
Yes, my daughter bought it for me. She's given it to me for Christmas. So
What a-
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
What a good daughter. Well,
yeah,
yeah, it's such good advice too. Chanting, especially the
Yeah.
sacred mantra, it has this direct effect. It's one of the processes that Krishna talks about in the Bhagavad Gita, where he says that spiritual practice should be felt directly. It's not that somebody else feels it for you. It's not that it's just philosophical or intellectual, but it's something you feel directly yourself. And that chanting does have that effect. Can feel it
Yeah.
directly. Great, Beck.
thank you.
Look at that, JM. Achyuta Balaram's here.
Yes. Go ahead, Achyuta.
I met him 2 weeks back in Santa Cruz during Black Friday, and he is yeah, Michael. If you want to just feel free to introduce yourself and say hi to the group.
Hello, my name is Michael. Michael Lassesi. I'm from New York, but I live here in Santa Cruz, California, in that area. Yeah, I'm on a spiritual journey, just like many others. A lot of reading. I don't know if you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully you can.
Oh, yeah, perfectly.
So, I mean, this might just give you an idea. Like, it's just lots of books about spiritual subjects, and I'm reading them constantly. I mean, it's like walls of books. So, when I met Achyuta, and Nama, I think it was, right? Maybe, or Achyuta and his wife, I think, right? We met in Santa Cruz. I was just, I was actually listening to an audiobook. I think it was, I don't remember which one I was listening to at the time, but it had something to do with theology as well. So they, what's going on? And they offered me a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, and told me about this meeting of like-minded folks, and so I'm happy to be here. I will probably miss a few weeks. I'm heading back to New York to visit my family for a couple of weeks, and then when I come back, I have an assessment for. I had suffered a brain injury a few years ago at work, and I'm kind of still dealing with workers' compensation and the whole shebang. So I have an assessment the Monday after I get back. So you may miss me for a few weeks, but I will plan to return once my free time opens it back up a bit. So, but happy to be here
Thanks,
tonight.
Michael. Yeah, great to have you here. And what part of New York are you from?
I'm from Western New York, Rochester. It's in between
All right,
Buffalo and
Rochester.
Syracuse. Yeah,
Sure.
a lot of people I think move out of Rochester. You'll find Rochesterians all over the country. Most of the time, it's has to do with weather, I think.
We need more Rochesterians in the world.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
All
It's nice
right.
to meet you all.
You too. You too. Anyone else have someone to introduce, or if you're here and you just want to say hey?
Go ahead
Please,
now.
Nava.
I just want to say hello to Violet Hart. She's joined from Sydney, I believe. she signed up on our website some time ago. So welcome, Violet. If you want to say something, it would be nice to hear from you.
Thank you. Hello. Happy to be here.
Thanks, Violet. Thanks for being here. Anirban, go ahead.
Yeah, so hello everyone. This is my first time joining this community. I found Bhakti community online and I joined, and yeah, this is my first time. I'm based out of East Bay, San Ramon. So this is exactly the view you get from a nearby hike, which I go very often. And yeah, I've been in this journey uh, for around 5 6 years now. I go to ISKCON, which is in Berkeley, on and off, right? And I've also done some, meditation courses through Sadhguru Isha Yoga, right? So have been associated with uh, like with the spiritual path for the last couple of years. So I was feeling that, hey, I need to be associated with a group where we can discuss, right? Each one of us journey. Everyone is going through their own path. So yeah, I found this community, and yeah, this is my first time joining.
Welcome, Anirban. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And looks like Jai he's here today, but has camera off and muted, but listening. Thanks very much for letting us know. It's always hard to tell behind a closed window what's happening.
Welcome, Jai. And we also have Diva's hand up. Please go ahead.
Thank you, JM. Hare Krishna, Vashika Prabhu. I love your talks on Monday, and I always make it a point to join. I'm still relatively new to Bhakti Yoga and Krishna consciousness, and just wanted to say hey because growing up, I grew up in India in a Hindu household, and hear Krishna's name a lot, and learned about the Mahabharata and the Ramayana and all those texts. So I'm really here, I really like the Krishna consciousness preached here because it really separates the sectarianism and just focuses on the philosophy and kind of how to apply it to your life and how to live your life. So I really appreciate that. And yeah, just trying to plan my life according to service to Krishna, really. So thank you.
Wow, that's a good idea. I like that a lot. Where are you?
I'm in Redwood. Sorry about the disturbance. I'm taking my dog for a walk.
No, you're Redwood City?
Yeah, I'm in Redwood City.
Fantastic. What's your dog's name?
Max.
Okay, Max, have a good walk.
She looked up and said thank you.
That sounds like fun, especially this time of night. It's just the sun just went down. It's beautiful out there. Well, thanks everybody for saying hey, and yes, JM, you have more?
No, people are just glad and welcoming all the newcomers. So thank you for introducing yourself.
Include me in that group. I'm really glad. Okay, let's look at a few thoughts. Today's thought is about preparation, something I like very much, because oftentimes the mind has a tendency to lament or to worry. Lamentation for the past and worry about the future. And one of the ways to bring the mind into the present is to get into preparation mode, which means be in the moment and prepare. Just improve yourself, invest in yourself. So I'll talk today about some very specific small daily disciplines. And that's exciting. The exciting part about being human is that we can use our free will and decide that we want to make our journey to a certain destination, and we can prepare ourselves. So Let me get on the same page here with you, JM. Okay, so let's go to the first slide. And I'm going to give you one of my favorite quotes, free of charge. And it's from Louis Pasteur. And he said that great discoveries come only unto the prepared mind. And there's a way in which, by remembering this, we may be looking for great discoveries, but then we think, well, where will they come from? Even spiritual revelation or discovering the things that we're looking for in life. Oh, how do we get there? Be in preparation mode. Prepare yourself. And it never gets old, never gets boring to work on oneself. A quote, which you find in the next slide, that I picked up many years ago. I collect these kind of things and I keep them close to me, from one of my favorite speakers named Jim Rohn. And he said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's something he learned from his mentor. And he used to bring that out all the time and say, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And when I first heard that, I thought, yeah, that's something I can do, because, again, the human opportunity means you can work on yourself. And if we turn our attention towards preparing ourselves and improving ourselves, it becomes a worthwhile project. It's fun in the present, and it gets us ready to catch what's available in the world. There's lots available. In fact, one of the great saints of the ancient wisdom literature is named Chaitanya. Just after he had taken monkhood, he went out with some of his followers into the world. And after they had left the town that they were living in, he turned around to them and said, did you bring anything? And they said, oh, no, you didn't tell us to bring anything. He said, very good, because I want you to see that as we move about the world, that there's plenty of food and money for everyone, but you can only get what you deserve. And what's more, he said, you see that it's an abundant universe that we live in. Everything's available. But what can you get? What you prepare yourself for. Because great discoveries come only unto the prepared mind. So this idea of investing in yourself and working harder on yourself than you do on your job. Some people will work for others, but better to work for yourself and on yourself. I'm not saying don't have a job, but make your main job investing in yourself. That's a concept, a general concept. I'll get into more specifics in a minute. And one of those specifics is setting goals. This is one of the most exciting prospects for preparation, is to decide what you want and write it down. It's also a Jim Rohnism. And I want to show you my magic wand here. Hold on. I have it. I keep it nearby, through which I create magic in my life. Can I reveal it to everyone here on the in the meeting? Here it is. This is a genuine ballpoint pen made by Pentel. Pentel is the brand. As this particular pen is called an RSVP, and it's a fine tip BK90. Looks like an ordinary pen, and it is, but this is the way that I can transform my life with this pen. If I have this pen, and if you look back a couple hundred years, people didn't have access to pens very readily. Yes, there were pens, but they were a little bit clumsy, to say the least. We have these available everywhere, but people overlook them. What we can do is we can transfer what's in here through the pen onto paper. Everything in the world manifests starting from a subtle level, from a seed level, like a redwood tree. Redwood tree starts from, it's one of the smallest seeds you're going to ever see from a plant. lettuce seeds are maybe a little smaller, but redwoods, they grow to a gigantic size. But even they have to prepare themselves, because when the redwood seed falls from the tree, it falls together in a cone, inside a cone. And then it doesn't grow automatically. There has to be a fire. There has to be fire in the forest. And then that fire creates a kind of fodder in which the seed can grow. And then it grows after it's germinated. The fire opens the cone, it creates a nutritious environment, and then the seed can germinate and grow. Same with banyan trees. Anybody here ever seen a banyan? I once lived inside a banyan tree. There's one in Hawaii, the ashram there. It's the second biggest banyan tree on the Hawaiian Islands. It's there on Oahu. And it's so large that there's 2 apartments inside the tree. And I stayed there once. And I read about banyan trees. You know that banyan trees are populated by a certain kind of sparrow. They live near the banyan. It's part of the ecosystem. They are part of the ecosystem, and they ingest the seeds. And after they digest them, they pass out the essence of the seed. Then it grows, and not before. It also has to go through preparation period. So we have the opportunity to take the subtle thoughts that are there within our mind, and hopefully we're ingesting the best of thoughts. And then when those thoughts come into the shape of ideas that we can see in our mind, then we can manifest them with a pen, write them on paper. And that's why this slide, number 5, is about setting goals. If we don't take the time to define what we want, then there's lots of other seeds that just find their way. Anybody here gardens? You probably have the same experience that I do. I garden a lot. And that is that I plant seeds, but then there's lots and lots of volunteers. I recognize where some of them came from, but others I have no idea. They go back generations and they just come into my garden and grow. Some of them I say, help yourself. You can have some of this space. But other ones I have to winnow out so that the other plants that I've deliberately put in there will grow. So set goals. This is a form of preparation in our lives. If you don't like where you are now and you want to be somewhere else, get a magic wand. I don't get anything back from the Pentel company, by the way, but I love this pen. Fits my hand. I carry it wherever I go. In fact, I have a lot of them in case I misplace one, because I can't live without it. And also, I have specific places where I write things down. It's amazing. My wife and I took some time, as we do every year, for a goal-setting retreat. And we took 5 days. We went off to a place that is incognito, or we were incognito, and we were near forest and ocean and things like that. Don't try to guess where we went. And what we did each day was go for long walks and talk about where are we? Where do we really want to go? And we wrote everything down. In fact, I have the original document that we made when we were on that retreat, 5 days worth of very deep talking and deciding what we wanted, and we wrote it down. Do you want to see it? Oh, all right. 1 second. That's it. We carry one of those very large pads that have stick them on them so you can write on it and then put it on the wall. And that's what we distilled. And it's been amazing because ever since we wrote that down and we have an idea, we decided exactly what we wanted and wrote it down. There's some kind of magic that comes into our life that There's serendipity because great discoveries come only to the prepared mind. And we keep meeting people who can help us to go closer to the goal, and life becomes magical. And there's a way in which in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about Buddhi Yoga. He said that there's an intelligence in the universe. It's unmistakable. If you just look at nature and you notice how birds fly around, you see how migratory birds, they know where they're going every year, and they go in a group, and they land in the right place, and then they come back. Fish do it too. Ants are really smart. They build their own cities and things like that. The intelligence is there in the universe. And in the Gita, Krishna says, we're the living force within the heart. But right next to us is the supreme living force, who's always there to inform us. And when we prepare ourselves and we decide which way we want to go, then we avail ourselves to that universal intelligence. In Sanskrit, it's called Paramatma, the supreme Atma that's supporting everyone, becomes apparent to us. So, okay, I'll just take a couple comments. I'll watch the time so I don't run out of time because I have a bunch more to show you. But I just want to get a kind of feeling, some feedback, anything I said so far that resonated or that you have a question about or anything like that. Go ahead, Ariban. Anirban, I mean. Sorry. I saw you shaking your head, so I knew you had a thought in there.
No, I think I was just, agreeing to what you said, setting to go to the next level, right? Whatever in your personal life or professional life, I think being spiritually connected helps. And one of the main step is to write down your goals on an ongoing basis. So I was just agreeing to what you are saying, Prabhu.
Thanks, Anirban. Deeply appreciate it. And that goes to the subject of what kind of goals to set. You can set goals for your spiritual practice. And this is one of the teachings in our particular line of bhakti. They come from a group of sages named the Six Goswamis. And there was a poem written about them. They're exalted, highly intelligent sages. And they set the path for those who are practicing bhakti even today. They lived over 500 years ago. And in one of the songs, it talks about, I'll just sing the first line. It says, Sankhya Purvaka Namagana Natibi Kalavasani Krito. It mentions how their spiritual practice was very deliberate. Sankhya means they counted. So they set goals for themselves. And one of the examples of setting goals in a spiritual practice is for chanting. Is one of the main processes for meditation and cleansing the mind. You take a sacred mantra, and we use the omnibus mantra, the Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra. And I have lots of show and tell today. So this inside this bag are the beads I chant on every day. And there's a string of beads. And there's 108 beads on this. So I can count how many mantras I do every day. And then each time I go around the beads, because you go around and you chant one mantra on each bead, so you go around in a circle. Once I get all the way through, on my bead bag, there's this other set of beads where I can pull one down. And of course, there are electronic ways you can do that. You can also count on your fingers, but it's aesthetically pleasing to have the beads and to roll them and to do the mantras. So that's an example of Sankhya Purvaka Nama in making a goal in spiritual practice. If you make a goal to do a certain number of mantras every day and you keep that up, you'll start calling progress. And that's nice when progress comes knocking at your door. And any other kind of goal that you want to make. Is anybody? We'll take one more comment. I'll keep them just, and then I'll keep moving. Anybody else
I
have a
was,
thought? Yeah,
I was
please.
just, I was just reflecting that the sort of preparation, I mean, the banyan tree and redwood trees, they are so huge, but looks like the bigger the goal, the more preparation is needed. Like the redwood trees need to go through entire forest fire burn. The banyan tree needs to go through an entire digestion process. Like just to think what it needs to go through to. I mean, we see the big, huge thing, but the preparation which is required for to the task looks like also needs to be huge.
Yeah, and also on the other side, the seed is so small. So never think that you have an idea as a thing. It's a seed, and it can grow. And if you get the seed from the right place, like gardeners know, you have to get the best seeds. And when you get the best seeds, then you have a lot of confidence. When you plant this and you make preparation for it, something magical is going to happen. I mean, let's face it, seeds are magical. You look at them in your hand, they look like nothing, but then you put them in the ground, and it's so exciting. When you put them in the right place, you learn a little bit about how to prepare the soil and put them in a place where there's light, and then they grow into something that's hard to imagine. And I love your point, JM, to reiterate that about preparation. It stays with our theme. Anirban.
So, Prabhuji, quick question, like, how many, like, I also have a mala, right? So, like, how many, like, obviously, you are much more ahead in the spiritual journey. So, like, as a initial, as a starter, right? How many mala should we be targeting as one of the goals?
What a great question, Anirban. We should pick a number that we can do consistently, because in any kind of practice, consistency is king. And if you stick to something and you don't go below, since this series is about boxing with the mind gets excited about something, and then a week later you go, well, maybe I'll skip it. So what's best is to pick a number that you won't go below, something more than 0, not less than 1. And that could be one mantra, it could be one round going around your mala. But once you find consistency and you start to get used to it and a taste for it, then you take the next step and you can move up. So it's very individual. There's no particular number or formula except for something more than 0, not less than 1. Otherwise, nothing happens. Thank you. Very good. Excellent. Okay, here we go back to the slides. Everybody ready? The next one is learn how to turn off distractions. This is for self-preservation of your consciousness, especially in this age where there are a multitude of distractions. And the little notations you see on the bottom left corner, the first one is in Sanskrit. So it says Prajahati Adakaman. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, the student, asked Krishna, what's the sign of someone who's fixed in consciousness? And the first thing he says in reply is Prajahati Yadakaman. When one is able to objectify desires that come into the mind, that are the kind of desires that are like the weeds we talked about in the gardening analogy. Prajahati means you're able to not engage with them. You observe, you see that they're coming, but you step back and you don't feel compelled to grab onto them. Sarvan Partamanogatan, he said, because the mind's always manufacturing these various ideas, distractions. And so he said, the person who's learned to be discriminatory and to notice the various emotions or ideas or desires that come into the mind, and more even to the mind, even into our heart. But we're able to objectify and see which ones to choose and which ones to leave behind. So this is a sign of steadiness in consciousness. And so the mind creates its own distractions because there are a lot of things knocking around in there. So one of the tricks taught by the ancient sages is to, as the second notation says, line up superior engagement. So this is one of the best ways to overcome distractions, because oftentimes we get addicted to distraction because it's a product of what's called raja, this modality in nature that our mind can get touched by. And when it's touched by this raja, then we seek distraction. It becomes our addiction. So what to do about that? Find superior engagements and make sure they're at hand. So just as an example, have you ever experienced that when you study something and you put your full attention to it, you're not listening to anything else, you don't have music going on, you're just very focused, for instance, on reading a passage or a section, and then maybe you're rewriting it, you're memorizing it, you're studying it, how peaceful you feel afterwards, because the mind is fixed in one thing. And when we are distracted, the mind tends to be and feel agitated. And so lining up superior engagements, as an example, let's just say that there's a difference between random scrolling on an electronic device and perhaps reading a book that you selected that you want to read and finish. You feel there's a very different quality to those two activities. And so if you have your books lined up and you have them next to your chair, and then you get used to sitting down there, and you can also take other measures. I bought during the pandemic, I heard about this special device. It's a very robust plastic box, and it locks. It has a timer on it. And once you set the timer, you put something in the box and you set the timer, it locks. You can hear it go ring, ring. And then, unless you have a hammer and you want to break your box, you can't get out the contents. What do you think I put in there? You want to
Cell
guess?
phone.
That's right. So my cell phone goes in, I hear the thing close, and then my mind goes, fantastic. Even if somebody calls me, I can't answer. And then what do I do now? If I don't have any place to go, I'd have to go get the hammer and break it open again. But if I have a stack of books and I say I'm going to make progress, that's superior engagement. So this is one of the main teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. You can't give up the world. It's impossible. But you can find superior engagement in it. And when you do that, you naturally give up the lower things. So you have to organize your life to learn how to give up distractions. This is part of the preparation mode. We come to the next, which is number 7. And yes, health is a part of yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, and it's written right there under where I've written, have 3 daily health habits. Yukta hara viharasya. Yukta means learn to be in balance. And in the section where that statement is derived, it's Krishna says, don't eat too much, don't eat too little, don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little, don't recreate too much, and don't recreate too little. Find out how to get balance in your life. And one way to realize the intelligence of the universe is to notice the intelligence in your own body. If you observe how your body responds to how you treat it, you'll notice that it's a highly tuned instrument, and it's a representative of the universe and how highly tuned the universe is. So becoming aware of your body, and then developing at least three daily health habits. One of them here, the person who promised we told her we'd put her picture up here for modeling for this, is drinking water as an example. If you drink clean water every day, it's a health habit. Now, is there a difference between drinking a gallon of orange Fanta and drinking a gallon of water? I'm not saying you have to drink a gallon every day, but what do you think? Orange Fanta? Do you even know what it is? It's sugary, sweet, artificial flavor. I don't want to say anything bad about Fanta. Maybe somebody likes it, but there is a difference between drinking Fanta and drinking water. So find out what those health habits are. Walking is another one. The body's got to move.
I just want to add that
Yes,
she's drinking water while greeting the sun.
yeah, and that's another health habit that the Ayurveda brings up is get the morning sun. Don't sleep through it. Let the early morning sunlight touch your eyes. So it's advantageous, especially in the dark season, to get that early morning light and make sure, don't look right into the sun, but you can make sure that it touches your eyes. Anyway, get 3 health habits. There are plenty of literatures that talk about how to be healthy. Okay, next one. We're getting in the preparation. Michael.
I wanted to mention a lot of people might not be aware of this. When you're getting sunlight, natural sunlight, glass filters a majority of the red light. So if you're in a car or if you're just looking through a window, that's not sufficient. You need to open the window or you need to go outside. And even if you have lenses on, if there's regular eyeglasses, that's one thing, but you shouldn't be wearing sunglasses because it will filter out a lot of the benefit that you'd get from the sunlight. Obviously, like you said, don't stare directly at the sun, but it's important that you're not having something filtering those waves coming from the sun, or you may not get that same sort of benefit.
That's good to know, Michael. Thank you very much. And I hope everyone's now eager to run out there to catch the dawn tomorrow and watch the sun come up. Okay, the next one is to learn how to overcome conflicts with others. One of the most common of experiences we have as humans is having, perhaps some friction between other people. It's going to come up sometime or another. If you've never had conflict with other people, then maybe you live in the outback somewhere, I don't know. And maybe only conflict with kangaroos. But one of the most advantageous ways to prepare yourself for spiritual achievement is to learn how to overcome conflicts. And one of the admonitions given in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna is don't become your enemy's enemy. And so there's lots of opportunity when you're interacting with other people to learn how to be equipoised. Equipoise means in the course of interacting with others, you may become disturbed. True or false? Possible, right? But Krishna recommends practicing equanimity. Don't allow yourself to give in to extremes. So I have a mantra I keep for myself, which is whenever there's a sense of conflict with others, I agree to work methodically but dispassionately on the conflict. And there's a couple of notations in the bottom. One of them is don't make ultimatums. That stops the process. You can't process anymore once you make an ultimatum. And I know it's almost paradoxical because saying don't make ultimatums is practically an ultimatum. But when it comes to dealing with a conflict, it's really a test of one's equanimity to not close it off and say, I quit. I'm not going to talk about this anymore with you ever again because, You didn't see it my way. And the second one tells why. Workarounds bring turnarounds. We've been finding this more and more, that by not closing down the conversation and sticking with it, and look for the workaround. Just be curious and see, is there a workaround? Oftentimes it brings us to a turnaround, something you never would have seen before, and it brings the whole situation back to a workable relationship with the other person. So this is something Krishna talks about in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, although in much more detail. I'm just giving some essential points for a lifetime of preparation and how to control the mind. Next one. We're highly affected by our environment. And having a special place that you curate so that you can go there and recreate yourself is very important. That's why people have ashramas, and they have maybe a sacred place they go to. And if you know where you can repair to and start over and come back to your center, it's very helpful. If you have a place in your house, take advantage of it. So I have some notations there. One is to schedule time off. Don't be on high alert 24 hours a day. Take time for yourself. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. You'll never get ahead on a job, because job, I don't know if you know where the word comes from, do you? J-O-B? It stands for just over broke. And when you do a job, you're always in the same situation, because the taxes and all the expenses keep going up and everything like that. But if you work harder on yourself than you do on your job, then you become open to all the bounty of the world. And so schedule time off for working on yourself, because you're much more effective when you've filled up your heart and your mind and you feel satisfied. Boy, can you interact with the world, and boy, can you overcome the urge to make ultimatums. And then the second one is get a do not disturb sign. That may sound like a trifling little thing, but it's representative of this whole principle of learning to take time to yourself and repair. I have several. I travel with them. I keep them in my office. And a lot of it's for my own peace of mind, because when I decide that I'm going to go into a repair mode and a preparation mode and look within, I need to make sure there's not even the chance that somebody's going to knock on my door, call on my phone, some alert's going to go off. And that's valuable time that we can take. And get a do not disturb sign and put it up and see what happens. See how it makes you feel that now's my time to work on myself. Next one, you may be surprised at, but it's to cook at home. Learn to cook, because Bhakti yoga is a kitchen religion. Did you know that? Most of Bhakti takes place in the kitchen. And one of the beautiful parts of Bhakti is to learn to cook. There's many cookbooks that show how to cook food and then offer it to Krishna. And when you do it, you're not cooking it for yourself, you're cooking it for Krishna. And then you offer it after you've cooked it. It becomes what's called prasadam. Prasadam means the grace of God. And then when you eat, you feel naturally connected to Krishna. And besides that, you are what you eat. So if you eat food that's got a very low vibration, it was ultra prepared or ultra processed, even just on a physiological level, ultra processed or processed food generally is really bad for you. The cells react in an adverse way in your body. So don't eat junk, that's for sure. And the other thing is, when other people touch it, look at it, and it's all for profit, there's a completely different experience of eating. So it's good to take a few cooking classes if you don't know how to cook, or get a friend who knows how to cook. I have a wife who knows how to cook, so that helps a lot. And it changes your life, and it becomes it's just such a meditation when you cook, but you're not just thinking, I got to cook this fast because I have to eat, but you take the step at the end and you put together what we call an offering, and you say some prayers and you offer it to the Supreme and say, Krishna, please accept this. I cooked it for you. Then when you eat, your consciousness is prepared to meet the world. And if you ever feel down, what you really need is a little prasadam, a little spiritual food, and you'll come right back up again, guaranteed. Okay, Jam, I'm sailing along here because I realize how much clock I've eaten up today. Next one, number 11, in the mode of preparation, this is one of the best preparations of all, is to read every day. Not every week or every year, but every day. Have a system so that you can read. All leaders are readers. And a few points I have here. One is be a sage, page by page. One of the miracles of reading is how thin a page is. I may have to remind you how thin a page is. Excuse me for a minute. I'm turning around to grab a book. All right. Here's the Bhagavad Gita. Tell me how thin that page is. You can't measure it. There's nothing that can measure that. But it's a miracle that if you keep reading and turning the pages, somehow or other, you finish the book. And all of that goes into you. And so I created a system for myself called Be a Sage Page by Page. And actually, I mark where I start. I use these little... I can't see myself on this, but hopefully you can see me. These are tags. You see, you can unstick them and then stick them back again. I start in a certain place and I have a designated number of pages that I do every day. Remember, Sankhya Purvaka, you count things. If you say, I'll read at least one page a day, then mark it and make sure you do it. If you say 10 pages a day, then you start and you put the finish line where you're going to go to. And I created an app like that for certain spiritual books. So you know how many pages and you know how many pages a day you have to read to finish them. The next one is, in this, is to stack up those books that you're going to read. Just like we saw a second ago from Michael. He showed us this principle. He has his books stacked up there. So, you know, it has this, every object we have in our house, this is called Vastu, has an effect on us. And when you clear out all the other distractions, as we talked about already, and you put those things that you really want to concentrate on, and I recommend find the best books and then stack them up and say, I'm going to count how many pages I read until I finish this whole stack, and all I have to do is read 10 pages a day or whatever it is to finish by this time. You'll become absorbed. Look at that person reading there, how she's absorbed in that book. That's prime time preparation. It makes you an expert in something, but when you're reading spiritual literature, you're getting the direct connection with those very highly enlightened authors. And some of the literatures that come from the Vedas, they're not even written by humans. They're called Apurusheya. They're actually written, they're not even written. They've always existed. The vibration's always there. It's just captured on the page. And when you read it, it goes right into you. And then you experience transcendence right on the page. Okay, next one. This is a good time of year to take care of this one, which is to list your priorities and values. I've been doing a workshop with this, and it's fantastic. You take time to write down all your priorities, make a priority list. Boy, I'm going to have to speed through this, and we'll come back to it the next time, because I hate to go so fast on this. But another phrase from Jim Rohn, don't major in minor things. Decide what's most important to you and stack it up on your list, and then keep coming back to that. That's preparation. And ask yourself these questions in the notation. What's most important to you? Ask yourself, what's most important to me? You get to decide. And then what qualities do you most admire? And so write down your priorities and your values. Boy, is that an enriching preparation for mixing with the rest of the world when you've already decided what's most important to you. Okay, then next one is to collect mentors. Be guidable. So when you get a mentor, you can airdrop experience. Means you find somebody who's already expert in something and you sit with them, you're airdropping all of their experience right into your heart, right into your mind. And then the next one is live to be corrected. That's a mantra. I pulled that out of an interview I heard once, and the person said, I live to be corrected. That's my new mantra. If you stay in that mode of living to be corrected, instead of being defensive, you say, oh, thank you. Thank you for teaching me. Whatever happens, whatever you hear. And of course, there are parameters for this, and I'm not saying you should just be a fool and be bullied or, abused. But this application is to be open to the lessons of the universe. Okay, next one. Assemble your personal cabinet. Political leaders often assemble the best people in their field, and they regularly meet with them. So I suggest that you find your cabinet members in your life. Who are those experts that you can keep close to you? Stand on the shoulders of giants. Find those who are really accomplished in something and make them part of your orbit. Keep your best people on speed dial. Don't neglect reaching out, because it's the fastest way to make progress in any discipline. And now we have 3 minutes left. So if you have a 3-sentence observation, 3 only, that's all you get, then please feel free to give a reflection.
Go ahead, Phil.
Phil, you're up.
You are still muted. Yes.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
First of all, thank you very much for your service. Hello to Shitra and Nama. And as you can see in the background, I'm in my place of relaxation. I arrived here today, getting ready for Christmas. And I've got my homemade cauliflower soup for the next 3 nights.
You got it all going on, Phil.
So I'm all prepared, but I just got in this afternoon. I had to show off the background. So thank you for your service.
Where are you?
I'm in Australia.
Which
South
city?
Australia. And I'm in a place called Port Newell. It's actually my girlfriend's shack.
We're on our way over, Phil. I hope you made enough cauliflower soup for all of us.
So my girlfriend she's back at home working, unfortunately, but I'm here relaxing. So
fantastic. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
Yasmin just posted amazing conversation and slides today. Love seeing these as we end the year and welcome a new one, especially with these hearty gems. Haribol.
Thanks, Yasmin. Yeah, this is a great time of year for it. A renewal. In fact, the reason there's so many celebrations at the end of the year is because it gets dark and we tend to want to start over. In fact, it was from Roman culture, Saturnalia, when those who wanted to combat the darkness, they would renew themselves just this time of the year, and many of the other holidays got moved to this time of year, and it makes sense, doesn't it? You kind of want to start over and think the new calendar's coming up, the light's going to come soon. Then, well, I'll just stop and see if there's one more comment, because we have 1 more minute. Div is going to cook.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah, good idea. We have some cookbooks we can recommend. In fact, I wanted to show you something. Yes.
Michael, go ahead.
I just wanted to reiterate something that you mentioned earlier. I'll try to be quick. The power of writing down your goals is a real thing. And even if you forget about it sometimes, if the piece of writing, I remember writing, the things that I wanted in a house, and I moved in someplace years later, and I was going through old belongings, found the notepad, saw the things I listed, and realized that I was in the house that I had wrote about. and things have moved forward since. But there's a lot of power behind that.
It is,
And
Michael.
the thing that you mentioned.
Yes.
I was going to say the thing you mentioned about praying or dedicating your food is a big thing. It's a good idea to abstain from listening to or being around negative things, or what you shouldn't eat. Like, you should avoid listening to the news while you're eating your dinner, because it has a harmful effect on the food that you're then ingesting. But yeah, that's just it's a good
Excellent
idea
advice.
to be thinking good things like that. Yeah.
It's breaking news. Breaks your heart, breaks your concentration. Well, last show and tell. This comes out around the Bay Area. It's called Home Cooked. And we just happened to, in this edition, have two of our friends in here who have a farm not too far from here, where we get a lot of our beautiful produce and things, Jumuna and Todd. And they have a whole long article in here about all their home cooking, taking care of the animals there. They have beautiful cows that are their family members. And anyway, it's a very wholesome look. And I'm glad that Michael brought that up at the last point, because that point about cooking, offering with mantra to the Supreme, it really changes your life. Wow, we ran out of time fast. Thanks a lot, Beck, for being here. Thanks, Nama. Thanks, JM. Thanks, Fla. Thanks, Michael. So many contributions. Amit, always good to have you here. Mary Kay. Anirban, fantastic. Sakala Subag, Radha Kripa, Phil, Hetty, Achuta Balaram, Chuck, Chitra, Lisa, Shamasundari, Van,
Shamsundari has a
Ann's
friend.
here. Huh?
Shamsundari has a friend too.
Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Good to see you, Shamasundari, and good to see your friend. Ayush, Diva, Chow, Adinath, Bhakti Rasa, Ayush. Well, I tried. Rahul's here. Violet, Ruchi, Vijay, Vicky, Jonathan. There's so many more in the other stream. Lalitangi, Yashta, Noilani. Oh, Noilani's here. Maxine's here. Boy, I hope I didn't miss anybody, but it's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope to see you again soon, and which reminds me, a really auspicious way to say goodbye. Learn from our yogi friends high in the Himalayas. They do come out of their caves from time to time, out of deep meditation and samadhi. And when they see one another on the high peaks of the Himalayas, they have a way of greeting and also saying goodbye by putting their hands high in the air, and they say this phrase, Hari Bol. It means keep the vibration going. Try it before we go.
Met that first woman.
Haribo!
Haribo!
Hari, see you next time.
See you next
Prepare, get
time.
prepared.
And she's really angry. She's wagging her finger.